Operations are not just the domain of the large basement empire model railroad. There are many things that you can implement when designing a small model railroad that you may have not thought were possible with it. One thing I definitely would do if you want to do some operations is consider adding some kind of yard. Now, you may think that a yard has to be a 20-track Leviathan, complete with yard leads, caboose tracks, and all sorts of other things for servicing and facilitating locomotives and rolling stock. But there are several types of yards that are perfect for small model railroads. The first is an industry support yard. These yards are typically built to support one or several industries, and there are only a couple of tracks. Some industries need a lot of service. Think about power plants, mines, as well as clusters of industries like industrial parks. These all need a lot of cars daily, and sometimes they'll just need places to store those cars. The yard on my layout is an industrial support yard that handles the traffic for 5 industries, and it actually has a switcher permanently stationed at it. Another yard that is great for small model railroads is a junction yard. Your small railroad may represent a branch line that needs to meet up with a main line for pickup and sending off rolling stock. A junction yard is something that can be added at the edge of a layout with just a couple of tracks. Like I said, these yards do not have to be massive. You can do this with just a few tracks and have plenty of space to service industries or work a branch line. I've had yards on previous layouts that were just 2 or 3 tracks. You can even have a switcher station there just like mine and have a few small facilities to service that switcher. Now, let's say you want to add some interest to a small yard. One thing that helps a lot with yard operations is a runaround track. It doesn't have to be huge, but it will allow for easier switching. Another thing that you can do is add what is called a RIP track. RIP track stands for Repair in Place. This is a track where repairs on locomotives or rolling stock can take place. This can add some operational interest by having cars that cannot move because they're being repaired. The track on my layout can be a RIP track. A lot of times I just store locomotives there, but it has the little details that can make you feel like it's a RIP track if I need it for operations. Now for your industries. There are quite a few small industries that you can add that don't take up a lot of space that will not dominate your entire model railroad. The first is a small warehouse for deliveries. These can accept several car types depending on what it is. If the warehouse is a general distributor, it can accept box cars. Building material warehouses can have things like flat cars or specialty cars for that industry. Another small industry that is great is a fuel dealer. This can be oil, gas, propane, anything that needs tank cars. It only needs a few cars and is perfect for small layouts. Now, let's say you have several industries, but not a ton of space for each to have a dedicated track. You can use one of my favorite things to put on layouts, a team track. Team tracks were originally named this because teams of horses or mules would haul goods to and from the track to deliver or pick up items from a train, and the name just stuck. Team tracks can be a siding near several industries with road access so that trucks can get to and from the track. This can save you quite a bit of space, and they can save a ton, that's why I love them. I actually combined a team track with a warehouse track on my layout. The team track cars sit further down than the warehouse track. Here it is right here. So these are great for small branch line or industrial layouts, but what if you want to add some mainline operations to your layout? Now, one thing that really helps with making small layouts feel big for mainline operations is a place that the train can at least partially disappear. Think going behind mountains or buildings, or going behind a backdrop that may be running through the layout. Now, the simplest way to add mainline operations to a small model railroad is to have a train run through, pretending that it occasionally stops to drop off cars for delivery and pickups from industries that are on the layout. Another thing you can do is, if you have a little bit more space, you can have a large passing siding on your layout. When two trains pass each other on a railroad, it's called a meet. In the past, trains used to use timetables to know when a train was going to meet or pass an area. One train would wait on the passing siding while another train passed by. Now, this changed when centralized traffic control was implemented, but having a passing siding with trains meeting is another great way to add mainline operations on a smaller railroad. I do this on my layout. One other thing you can add is passenger operations. This can be as simple as a train that passes through, or a simple station in the town on the layout where it can stop. You can run the train in both directions if you use things like cab coaches for commuter and intercity rail as well. I've done this on my layout with the Chicago Northwestern 400 set from Kato, as well as I do have some Metra cars as well to do this with. Your model railroad doesn't need to be massive to feel like one. What do you do to make your small model railroad feel big? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe, be kind, and happy railroading.